Okay, we're live.
Okay, Joan, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Nice to see everyone. Welcome, Madison. So we are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And would anyone like to volunteer to say the Pledge of Allegiance? Because we shouldn't all speak. Anybody? Okay, I've got no volunteers, so here goes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to read the mission statement. It's the mission of the Bernards Township Municipal Alliance Against Substance Abuse is to provide consultations, programs, trainings, and resources to members of the Bernards Township community with the goal of preventing and reducing the use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. The three goals are to educate about the damaging and addictive effects of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, to support evidence and programs that prevent healthy alternatives to substance abuse, and to create a community-wide presence in the identification of problems and in designing effective, measurable solutions. We are meeting via Zoom. Caitlin, how are you going to? I wrote down all the names for the roll call, right?
So I think the only people that we're missing is Catherine, Swapna, and Tracy.
Okay.
I think everyone else is here. I can see by the screens. And then we also have Jennifer Sorensen, and we have Monica. I'm not sure how to say your last name. I'm sorry. Sprague.
Okay, so just so you know, I will be taking the minutes tonight. So after we get into the reports and that, Caitlin is going to be leading. I also have a higher level math class going on 2 classes away from me. My daughter is Zooming her class. So I will put myself on mute. So if someone asks me a question and you can't hear what I'm saying, just remind me to unmute myself. All right, so can we have a motion to approve the minutes from the March 3rd, 2020 meeting?
Joan, staff comment.
Oh, sorry, any staff comment?
So everyone, Lucy is not here tonight. She is taking some very well-deserved time off right now. So that's why she's not here tonight. From me, housekeeping with Zoom real quick. When you speak, to make it easier for Joan for taking the minutes, just say your name before the comment, just in case she doesn't have the screen up and she can't see who's speaking. Please keep yourself on mute unless you have a comment, just to cut down on the amount of background noise. And then just a reminder, this meeting is being streamed on YouTube for the public, so they can make a public comment anytime until public comment. And then I think we're going to give about 3 or 4 minutes or so for anyone else to tune in. So they're currently watching this live, and they can send it to my email, which is kcartocchio@bernards.org. And other than that, thank you all for your patience the last couple of months. It's been pretty tough, but I'm really happy to see so many of you on the call today. I miss seeing all your faces in person. So hopefully we'll be back to that one day soon.
Hopefully. Okay, so minute approval for the March 3rd, 2020 minutes. Do I have a motion?
Sure. Johnny Graves will approve.
Okay. And second?
I'll second, Jen.
Thank you, Jen. Do we do a roll call on that, Caitlin? That's good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put myself on mute, and we'll hear from the Somerset County Alliance Coordinator, Jennifer Sorensen. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Joan. Everything I'm saying in my report, I emailed to Caitlin. So for minutes purposes, don't worry. If you miss anything, it's all in the email. So first things first, on January 1st of 2021, the Board of Chosen Freeholders for Somerset County are changing their name to County Commissioners instead of Freeholders. So we're just letting you know now so you can update any materials that you have or are going to be printing soon. And any materials you have that still say Freeholder on them, you can use until December 31st, but try to go through them quickly. So for the current grant year, and I don't know how much to backtrack because I haven't seen any of you and so many shenanigans have happened. But essentially on March 23rd, the governor put a spending freeze on, most state spending, including alliance funding. And he also extended the fiscal year by 1 quarter. So we are currently in the 5th quarter of fiscal year 2020. And that's going to go until September 30th. The 5th quarter report is due to me on October 13th, and the only allowable expense between March 23rd and the end of 5th quarter is the stipend that Caitlin does for coordinating the grant. Any other program expenses are frozen and are not allowed to happen. I'm going to be sending out modified subcontracts for this 5th quarter period later this month once the freeholders approve it at their meeting on the 22nd. And I am going to be having a networking meeting at the end of this month as well, date TBD, for all of the alliances in the county to get together and chat. All of you are invited to it, so I will send out a flyer once that is ready. As for the next year, so this next fiscal year is going to start October 1st and it's going to go until June 30th. The funding was reduced significantly, and I don't have your original funding amount in front of me, but I remember it was around 15,000 and you're currently getting 6,000 and some change. And I don't want to take up the whole meeting talking about how this happened, but it is a really long story. And essentially, the alliances are funded by fees that are collected when somebody is arrested for a drug or alcohol related offense. And the arrests have gone down significantly. And then there's a lot of other state entities that get some of that funding. So it's a long, complicated story, and I'd be more than happy to share with you offline more, details of that, as well as how to advocate for change at a state level. But unfortunately, that is the situation we are dealing with. So the new funding amount is around 6,000. The Governor's Council, so Jakarta, is going to have their council meeting on September 15th to approve grant applications for this fiscal year, and I will keep you all posted on that. And subcontracts for that period are going to be sent out sometime in October. Other than that, I do have all the forms I needed for that period plus 5th quarter from Bernard's Township, so you are all clear, good to go with that. Otherwise, I don't know if anybody has any questions, but you know how to reach me if you do want more information about what happened with the funding.
I sent a good chunk of the PowerPoint that you showed to the coordinators to the Alliance, and I'm blanking on when that was. I want to say it was sometime in early August I sent that to you guys, but
Okay.
I can always go back and find that email and resend if anybody wants to look over it.
Yeah, that's really the best example. Rather than me explaining it, it's easier to just read through that yourself because there are so many moving parts involved. But if you have questions on that, or if you've seen it and you will have questions, feel free to email me and we'll go over it together. But other than that, that is all I have for my report.
Okay. Next, Youth Services Commission, Monica.
Hi, yes, good evening, everybody. I'm Monica Sprague, the Municipal Youth Services Commission Coordinator for Somerset County. And it's really nice to see everyone. I hope everyone have continued to stay healthy and stay safe through these unprecedented times. My update is relatively brief, some of which I did forward today in an email to all of our chairpersons for our commissions throughout the county. But to give you a brief overview, on June 23rd, the Somerset County Board of Chosen Freeholders adopted its 2020 annual budget, and that included $109,109 in funding for our municipal youth service commissions. So that opened the door for our 2020 grant opportunities to be available. So today I did send out to all of our chairpersons our grant applications that have a deadline to be returned back to me by October 7th. This would be for the 2020 annual grant application. For annual grant application, it's $5,000. And that, of course, is for programs directed toward at-risk youth, may include general prevention activities. It could be for the continuation or expansion of existing programs or development of new programs. We do encourage that our commissions learn from our pandemic and implementing virtual models moving forward so that we can continue to keep our programs readily available for our students in the event of all in-classroom activities going completely remote. We want to be proactive. This is also something that's encouraged for our competitive grant application, which is a minimum of $2,500 to $6,000. And I do want to take a moment to apologize because I know I've mentioned that I do have 3 young adults, 18, 19, and 20, so they may be making noise. They're in college, they're talking, standing in front of me. Hold on for a second. In addition to that, I did want to emphasize the fact that with the delay of the process of our application process, the applications do need to be back by October 7th. Our timeline is going to be adjusted in that I know in the past it was from September to June. Now we're looking at January to December 31st, 2021. As I mentioned, I did send in a letter to Caitlin today for this commission, all of the information that I had just mentioned. And it also has some relative information that will help you as you prepare the grant applications. And if you have any questions, I'm readily available to assist in any way. My camera just went out, so I don't know. Can you see me? Oh, okay, good. So like I said, if you have any questions or concerns, I'm here to provide any technical support that you may need so that we can have another successful year in implementing program for our youth.
Awesome. I did get that email, and I will obviously will be responding to the grant application.
Thank you, Monica.
So moving into my report. So a lot of my report was actually what Jennifer and Monica both mentioned. They kind of covered what's happened with the grant process in the last 8 months, whatever it's been. So the Youth Services Commission money, luckily it didn't get, I don't want to say it didn't get touched, but it wasn't affected the same way that the Municipal Alliance grant was. So the money that goes towards REACH and Viking Yoga and RISE was not affected towards the end of the school year. So both RISE and REACH finished their year. The Viking Yoga money is going to be used to purchase items for this spring. I'm working with Chris Flanagan over at WAMS. She's the person who runs the Viking Yoga program. Obviously, it's not going to look the same as it has in past years, but she plans on taking the program as virtual as possible, and I support that. I believe Amy said this at one of our last meetings, but RISE will not be continuing after this year. They made the decision to not apply for the competitive grant. A lot of the items, which I'll go over, I have a whole section for RISE. Amy wrote a blurb about what the items are going to be used for and the curriculum and everything that's been purchased. But we are able to apply for the competitive grant. If anybody has any ideas, please let me know. I did reach out to Stephanie Smith, the Director of Guidance, to see if she had any ideas. So over the summer, Lucy and I met virtually with the new principal. I am not sure how to pronounce his last name. Can anyone correct me? Is it Lazovic? Okay. And we told him about our programs as Municipal Alliance and Youth Services Commission. I told him all about REACH and everything that we do. He was really interested. He offered a lot of support where he can. Any program that we've been involved with prior to the pandemic, he's happy to include us, whether it's in person one day or virtually. He was really interested. I was actually reading off of an old PowerPoint presentation. Jen, it's actually the one that I did for Cass and Licata like 2 years ago or something. And he said, "Oh, that sounds great. Can you forward it to me?" And I was like, "Oh no, I have to update it because it's from 2 years ago." So he was really interested, which was awesome to know. that the high school is still interested in having us, partner in programs. So our stance with the school is that we know they have so many things to worry about, whether it's online learning or getting the building ready, teachers, students, everything in between. We're not trying to burden the schools by any means. We're just trying to be present as a proactive resource. So anything that they need from us, we are available. And I've told both Ms. Hudak and Dr. Lazovic, like, we're here if you need us. Here's what we've done in the past. Let me know. Then the same goes for, I know Alex and Madison can vouch for this. I've told the kids Reach is still around. We're not stopping. It's not, again, supposed to be anything that stresses the kids out. It's supposed to be a positive outlet where they can make an impact in the community. So Reach will continue. Pretty much everything's going to continue, just obviously in an altered manner, as everyone keeps saying. And I submitted all the forms for the Municipal Alliance, and we'll do so for the Youth Services Commission grant. And the last thing is, in the next couple of weeks, I will be emailing everybody about, I can't believe we're already talking about this, but your letter of intent essentially for 2021. So everybody in the Municipal Alliance and Youth Services Commission is on a 1-year term. And every year you let me know if you'd like to renew that term for the following year. So it's kind of an official, I email you, you have to email me back, yes or no. Bye, Johnny. Thank you. He just said he had to hop off. And I think that's all I have for this portion of my report.
Okay, so I already welcome Madison, but I'm going to welcome her again because she's the next on the agenda. I don't know. We look forward to having a very interesting year. It's the first time that we've had to deal with a pandemic, so it should be very interesting. Do you have any questions or concerns or?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Madison, you want to tell us anything about yourself?
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm a member of REACH. I'm on the Youth Advisory Council for LMTI. I'm a rising junior at Ridge.
Okay, so then the next item on the agenda is REACH.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if you, hold on. Can you guys see the screen switch when I do this? No, MJ, I know you can't see, but anyone that can see my screen, can you see it move when I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to give an update on what REACH has been up to since March. In my normal fashion with REACH, we like lots of pictures. So as all of you know, REACH, or what was once RAD, switched their name to REACH, announced March 1st, 2020. Same mission, same students, new name, which is Ridge Education, Action, and Community Health. We worked with Cindy. Thank you so much, Cindy, for helping us come up with this new name. We think it better reflects REACH's mission and focus, which has been in the recent years, a lot of school stress, mental health, things of that nature. And we think this is more encompassing of everything that they want to work on. And the logo is actually created by one of our seniors. Now she's a senior, Emma Bertram. Before pandemic started, or pandemic hit, or the pandemic hit, whichever, on Saturday, March 7th, we had a team building day at the Branchburg Sports Arena. We had team building exercises, laser tags, snacks. It was a really fun day. It's really weird to see everybody sitting so close indoors now, but it was a really awesome day. I'm glad we were able to have this team building day before the pandemic started and everything kind of went into quarantine mode. No one got sick or anything like that, and we were able to have a really fun time and bond before not being able to see each other for a while. So once quarantine time started, I don't know how to word that, we weren't able to meet for the month of March and then most of April. A lot of that was due to my schedule and then obviously the students starting their virtual learning. I didn't want to burden them. We just kind of agreed that when we're able to have an online meeting, we're going to have an online meeting. I believe our first one was at the end of April. So we knew that our only option, essentially, since we weren't able to do in-person programs, was to do, you know, as much that we can virtually as possible. So with our new name came a new Instagram. So you can follow us on Instagram at ridge.reach. So we posted tons of pictures. We did this, I don't know what this is really called, a photo quote, if you will. But we did this one, I think it was in the beginning of May for Mental Health Awareness Month. I love the Harry Potter quote. I thought it was cute. Also for Mental Health Awareness Month, we decided to kind of make a theme for each week, and the students took turns making slides. So each one of these slides represents a different week. So one was how to stay active during quarantine, how to keep your body healthy. Another one was how to how to focus on your schoolwork better, and taking breaks is a good idea. How to stay connected during quarantine. So that one was talking about all the types of things that you can do to stay connected with friends and family. Zoom calls, game nights, things like that. And then the You Are Never Alone one, all the way over on the right hand side, was helplines and things like that. So typically at the end of the school year, we have a really big gathering at Pleasant Valley Park, and we do a cupcake war, and we say goodbye to our seniors. And we weren't able to do that this year, so I did a drive-by. That is sparkling cider for anyone who's asking. But on June 11th, I did a drive-by to all the seniors' house. All of this was done very safely with masks. If you don't see people wearing masks, it's because they took them off for a picture. But all the seniors got cupcakes, balloons, bubbles, sparkling cider. We did like a photo booth. You can see Audrey up there with some of the photo booth props, flowers and candy. And then this part was really special. We usually do an activity called strength bombardment, where all the seniors sit in the middle and everyone takes a turn going around and saying, good luck to them, what they're going to miss about the person, what they've enjoyed about working with them in the past, however many years that they've been in Reach. So we weren't able to do this, obviously, and I thought doing it, virtually would be a little bit complicated. So I want to say a good majority of Reach, so about 20 students, 25, they dropped off pages for each senior. So they did a page for Audrey, they did a page for Dylan, they did a page for Catherine, and then did a page for Anna, letting them know what they're going to miss about them, good luck. And I put them all together in a binder for each senior. You can see Dylan's grandma on the top left-hand side. She's holding his binder, and that was also filled with pictures of the student from their time in Reach. So they had that memory to go with them into college, essentially. It was really nice. And we also had a end of the year meeting. We did trivia about all the seniors, which was really fun. It was kind of who knows the senior best. It was good. We appointed new officers for Reach. So we have 2 new co-presidents. We have Alex, who is, of course, in the Municipal Alliance, Alex Timoney, one of our seniors. Andrew White, another senior. Secretary, Sanjeev Raugapathy, he is our new secretary. So he's been learning from Andrew how to be an effective secretary. And then we also have a new social media coordinator position, and that's Abby Phillips. And Abby's mom is on the Municipal Alliance, so yay. But we thought that would be really important going into this new kind of like virtual age, that we have somebody whose responsibility it is, mostly for the Instagram, maybe the YouTube every once in a while, but basically to have one person who's doing the posting for us. And then of course in August, we had our virtual summer leadership conference. I did send out the information about that. If anyone is interested, all of the speakers, I believe, and Alex and Madison can correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to be available online, but they're not available online yet, are they? I think a lot of them are on YouTube, but the Zoom calls are not uploaded yet.
Yeah, the sessions that were live on YouTube are accessible now, but it's the Zoom calls they're uploading late.
Yep. Okay. So I can always send out that link if anyone's interested. So this year we actually had a really good amount of students. There were 24 of us all together, including myself and Sam, who are the 2 advisors. 2 college HTI staff, those Izzy DiPaolo and Melissa Johnson. We had 5 youth advisory council members, Alex, Andrew, Abby, Madison, and Jack. And then we had 7 return campers, and then we actually had 8 new campers. So I think it was 7 freshmen and 1 sophomore who were new campers. Most of they had their info session with me back in May, and I promised them, and I told them about this wonderful in-person program, and they were still interested in doing the online program. So the fact that we had any new campers at all, I thought was really exciting. So this is just pulled from, sorry, it's kind of warped, but this is pulled from LMTI's webpage on what to expect with the Summer Leadership Conference. So they had it over a variety of platforms. So it wasn't, it wasn't just Zoom, it wasn't just YouTube. They had chat box. It was really interactive. They had panel discussions. I thought those were extremely interesting. I love watching panels, or I love interacting with panels, because everybody has something different to bring to the table. LMTI had tons of social media content, again, mostly on Instagram. They would do Instagram lives over the summer. They did, they made their own emojis for posting, tons of presenters. So we had a lot of our our typical presenters that we would see, and they were presenting, maybe they did a different format. So for example, Marlon Smith, we usually see him do the welcome. He hosted a panel this time. So we were able to see the speakers in different formats, but we also got to see speakers that we never would have before. I was telling some people before the call that somebody from the Georgia Teen Institute staff was on with us, and typically they would be busy doing their own Teen Institute, but they were able to be a part of ours. There were both youth and adult workshops. Typically the kids only participate in the workshops, and they get 2 workshops a week, and it's 2 different days at camp. And I think they have 2 days of workshops. There's 5 different topics. So they get to do 2 of the 5. This time there was only 1 choice for the workshop, but they were split into youth workshops and adult workshops. And then they really got interactive with the yaks and the cats. There were a lot of videos. There were fun little snippets where they got to introduce the speakers, but they had a really big part in virtual LMTI. So on Monday, we heard from Kevin Wanzer, who is one of our personal favorite speakers. He usually does Empowerment Day at WAMS, so the kids got to see him. Youth workshop was on developing your know, understanding your personal ATOD philosophy. The adults had a workshop, let's talk about race, racism, and anti-racism. This was one of my favorites. I unfortunately had to hop off this one early, so I can't wait to watch. This was a Zoom call. Can't wait to see when it's uploaded. And then at 7, M&P Presentations, who's the fellows on the bottom, they presented at the 2018 Fall Conference, and we haven't seen them since, so it was cool to see them again. Every morning they would do a mindfulness exercise. They did a pre-recorded video, somebody leading you through mindfulness, but they filmed it at Camp Mason, which is the beautiful camp that we typically go to every summer. So it was really nice to see camp in the morning. We usually see Dr. Matt Bellis doing the Natural Highs presentation, but we got to see him do an adult workshop. My favorite speaker probably during the week was DeMarco Fambi, who was the 3rd general session. I'll say what I liked about him later. We also had our first action group on Tuesday. We had to do it via Zoom. We had a pizza party scheduled for that day, but it said it was supposed to rain. It didn't really rain, but we moved the pizza party to the following day. So we had our first action group meeting over Zoom. The Real Talk About Racism panel discussion with Marlon Smith. Wednesday, we got to do a workshop with Kevin Wanzer, which we don't typically get to do. ILAC with Sean O'Byrne, which is one of our favorites in Reach. We had our pizza party that day, and then Matt Bellis had a alumni connection session in the evening. On Thursday, we got to hear from John Morella and Kira Bowdoin. I think I said her name wrong, I'm sorry. And I missed that session. Again, it's another one that I'm looking forward to seeing. I wanted to do the youth workshop here myself. It was ready, set, routine, setting yourself up for success this school year. I wanted that because I want to set myself up for success for the rest of the year. There was one of those times I wish I could have done the youth workshop, but the one with Jessica Andrews Wilson was really good too. And then there was a pre-recorded candlelight ceremony. So typically the candlelight ceremony is a really special moment at camp. There's music. It's a really special moment to remember what you've learned during the week. And I thought the pre-recorded version was still really nice and had a lot of different, or a lot of similar aspects to the typical candlelight ceremony. And then on Friday, we just had the closing and awards, and which was general session 8. We won the motivation award for 2019-2020, which was really cool. We were given that basically due to, you know, all the motivation that we had changing the name and rebranding. They thought that was really cool. So we're very thankful to get that award. And then at 3:45, we had our last action group meeting. And I just have some pictures from the week. So that was our first Zoom call. And then we had our socially distancing pizza party. If you see any masks, so the kids had to wear the masks on if they were getting up, getting food or anything like that. But if they were sitting at their seat, they didn't have to wear their masks. So if you don't see masks, that's why. But we played a game called WA, and I don't know how to explain it really over Zoom. I don't know if my video is going to play, but you can kind of see it happening. I don't think you're going to hear the sound, but basically it's a game that you can play in a big circle, and the kids had fun, and that's all that mattered. We took a group picture. The kids wore their It's shirts for that day. Typically we have a picture at camp where we're all wearing the same shirt. So it was nice to have that. This is one of those pictures that we broke social distancing just to take the picture, and then the kids moved away from each other, but that's our Youth Advisory Council staff. Everyone wore their t-shirts, our new shirts, on Thursday. And then some thoughts about the week. So this is from Andrew White, who's one of our co-presidents. And I will let you guys read that. Oh, MJ, I'll read it for you. As someone who has attended camp in person 3 times before, I really enjoyed LMTI this year, and I feel that the LMTI did an excellent job transitioning to an online platform. There were new and returning speakers that presented, and each of them were amazing with messages that really resonated with me. I also found each one of the workshop sessions very helpful. I hope they have similar ones in the future, such as the one about how to share your ATOD philosophy. Overall, LMTI was great this year, and I know I will always remember what I learned from it. And I definitely agree with Andrew from an adult's perspective. I thought they did a great job of transitioning things to an online platform. LMTI made sure that whatever they were doing virtually was very meaningful and very important, because they're very well aware our students are definitely going through a virtual burnout right now. They're definitely going through a Zoom burnout, Google Classroom, whichever. So whatever they, made for the students for LMTI, they wanted to make sure it was important. And then Madison and Alex, I don't know if you guys wanted to say anything about LMTI.
I thought that they did a really good job, just like Andrew said, they transitioning to the virtual format. It was, I know that a lot of people said that it was a lot more accessible because they could choose which workshops to attend and which events to attend depending on their schedule, and it was very flexible that way. And probably like the highlight of my week was Marlon's workshop about it was, I think, Let's Talk About Race, or one of those. And what was really cool about that is that they had a bunch of former campers, or 2 former campers and a bunch of alum, and 2 of the campers, and they were also Yaks too, I had known from when I went to LMTI, so it was really cool to see their perspective on those issues. And yeah, I thought it was overall a really enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I have to agree for the most part. And then also, sorry for the voice crack, but I also loved the panel that with Marlon, also because having it be online also made it easier to have more variety of presentations. Usually at camp, they're all very lecture based, whereas with the Marlon presentation, it was able to be more Socratic and more involved, which is really interesting. And also, as Alex mentioned, it was really accessible for other people of any age to come and watch them, which is really good, because I mean, obviously, LMTI is a really good experience to have. And
That was a really good point about being really accessible. We had students who typically wouldn't be able to attend. Band camp typically runs the same week as LMTI and they're not able to ever attend. So it was cool to have those students be able to finally participate. So our action plan 2020-2021. So thanks to Alex and Andrew, they set up something I never heard of called Pear Deck. And we were able to gather information from our action group about our topics for the next school year. Typically, I just have the students write on a bunch of Post-it notes and then we kind of organize them and figure out what our topics are going to be. And the main topic of interest is definitely mental health. We saw all different aspects, including suicide prevention, depression and anxiety, education about lesser known mental health challenges, where to find resources, coping mechanisms, things like that. And then there were a couple people who were interested in doing, obviously, substance abuse prevention. That's one of our main goals. And those were topics like vaping and alcohol use. Did I miss anything, guys? So what's next for REACH? So the first 4 meetings of the school year, we're actually doing in partnership with LMTI to discuss the action plan. So LMTI staff are going to be on our calls with us as we move forward with the rebrand and the mission. Any programs that we participate in the past, we're going to attempt to do them virtually. So things like the Teen Volunteer Fair, Back to School Night, Empowerment Day. Not all of these are confirmed. We're just saying that whatever we've done in the past, we're going to try and do it virtually. And the meetings will mostly be over Zoom, but there will be some in-person safe gatherings when the weather cooperates, hopefully September and October, and maybe even part of November. We'll see. We'll see what the weather looks like. Definitely outdoor gatherings when it's safe. I think it's really important to have that face-to-face contact and see each other as long as it's done in a safe manner. And I work for the health department, so I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was safe. So whether it's here, oh, I forgot to mention in the pictures that you saw us for the pizza party, that's actually the backyard of the health department. Never really considered doing meetings out back there, but I think we will in the future because there's a lot of space. There's a first floor bathroom that's accessible and it's pretty easy to get to. It's in the center of town. So I think that is all I had for REACH at least. And I'm sorry, you have to deal with me talking a little bit longer. I had the update from, oh, sorry, any questions about REACH or LMTI from March till now? So this is from Amy. It's about RISE. So that's the peer educators program that's over at the middle school. So due to schools being closed in the spring, RISE continued to meet virtually and work on selecting items for the Creative Corner, Refresh Center, and the Media Center. We were able to get more beanbag chairs, a rug, table, and some additional items that will make the space more inviting for students. We can't wait to share pictures when we're able to put everything together in that space. We also purchased some curriculum items so that we can continue training students to educate their peers. Lastly, we were able to purchase additional rights to perform Bystander, a portrait in apathy assembly at WAMS, when assemblies are possible again. Thank you to everyone for supporting RISE over the past couple of years, especially Caitlin, who helped us purchase all of our supplies from different vendors. We loved running this program and we're so happy that through the supplies we purchased, like the iPod, the Creative Corner, curriculum and assembly programs, that will continue to benefit the students at WAMS. And I can attest to the Creative Corner items because they're all in the other office right now. So hopefully that'll be able to give students a spot to cool down and take a minute to relax once they're all allowed back into the schools. Okay, I think that's fine. I think I'm finally done reading reports.
Caitlin, I have a question when you have a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so to go back to LMTI, I know in the past, because there was housing and food involved and transportation, there was a limited number of children who could attend. And I'm wondering, is it going to be open to a wider audience because it's now virtual? Is it more easily accessible for more children to attend?
Well, I'm not sure what summer 2021 holds, but I know that they, it was, so first of all, it was free, which made it extremely accessible to people who, either had financial reason or weren't able to attend in the past. I have a feeling that they want to do more virtual things, even, if, when things go back to normal. I don't know if they're going to do a virtual and an in-person at the same time, but I know that they want to make themselves more accessible to students all over New Jersey. I'm sorry if that's not the best answer.
Yeah, I'm just concerned because I know so many children are experiencing and adults challenges of being in their homes, having perhaps limited access to computers or internet, and lack of socialization is a challenge. And I'm wondering what else we can do. Or what do you, I know you're doing everything you can. I'm wondering what else is being done, perhaps even in other counties, to address the challenges. And there may be nonprofits that are doing the outreach and the support as well, because these are our programs that we always do. And so, but in light of this time period, I'm just curious of what your experience has been. And I know Jennifer and Monica, you're involved in the other communities, just wanting to get a sense of what else can be done, if anything, and what else is being done in terms of, addressing the fallout.
So I'm not really sure what is being done in other counties yet because the alliances have just started meeting again in September. So I'm sure I'll learn more as I attend more meetings this month, but everybody's been really in planning mode. I know that our Somerset County Youth Council has been pretty active, but they're just starting up again too, because people tend to take the summer off for the youth programs. So I'm sure there's things happening. I'm just not as in the know as usual, just because of the time of the year.
Makes sense.
I think Community in Crisis is running some programs. I'm supposed to meet with her in the next week or two. They got a big grant, and she wanted to figure out, how best to use that and what programs the community might be looking for. Their usual program, I guess, is for the middle school, the hub.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know if she wanted to expand it into the high school or add some other kind of program, but I'm supposed to meet or get together with her shortly.
Lori, I know I can email Tony or Andy directly, but let them know whatever we can do to collaborate on a program with them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Definitely interested in. Go ahead, Monica.
Raising my hand. My thoughts were similar in harmony with Jennifer in that I think the abrupt change really caused everyone to put things on hold, and now it's planning mode. However, your sentiments are really on the minds of many, of so many. I have had a chance to correspond with other and people from other counties, and it was really just that offering for dialogue and more communication so that we can look for ideas and really get a pulse on the needs of the youth in the community who are affected by the pandemic, who may have new risk factors as a result of the pandemic. I was really moved by a comment that someone just made recently. It's fair to say that all of our youth have been affected in some way. So all of them need a great amount of support in one way or another. So it should be a collaborative effort on all ends to look for ways to find creative ways. Necessity is the mother of invention, and finding programs that will really help to upbuild our youth who are facing things, this is the first time any of us have faced this. So it's a united front that is on the minds of many people. So you're not the only, the fact that you're saying this, this is on the minds of everyone. I think right now it's just that planning mode, because it's really a restructuring, trying to pick up the pieces from when everything was put on hold.
Sure, and it sounds like, thank you for that, Monica and Jennifer. Appreciate it. I know it's just such a difficult time to kind of put the brakes on and try to readjust for all service providers, now particularly with the funding change.
Right.
So yeah, so I appreciate your words and understand that it's a replanning, and it sounds like LMTI did a really good job of just pivoting and making new programs to be provided. So I'm really happy to hear that. So thank you for your answers.
I'm just afraid to speak for them, but I'm sure I can pass that along to them. Hey, what can be done year long, not year, what can be done year round now that can help and reach out to more students? Because I think that's a fair question. I mean, they're, a couple, they've only, not only been around, but they've been around for 34 years. I might have that wrong. But, they started with only a few action groups coming to camp, and now there are action groups all over the state, and they're always looking to expand, bring more students from different communities, different types of groups, whether they be school groups or regional organizations or, a youth services commission funded group like us. They're always looking to help out where they can. And they were actually, this is kind of a segue into the fall program ideas portion of the agenda. I sent out all those PDFs that had lists and lists of all different programs that can be done virtually, and LMTI did have information on there of what they can do. Again, these lists that I had, they are not all encompassing. There are definitely resources out there that I don't know about. Maybe they didn't get sent to me. But I do want to tell you guys that we did just schedule. I'm really excited to say, and this is the first time the kids are hearing this too. We were supposed to be doing we were supposed to have a program, bye Monica. We were supposed to do a program in April called Support Without Stigma. And it was going to be a program with Meg Itzbitsky, I think I'm saying her last name right, from the county. She was going to do a program for just youth in Bernards Township, or whatever town wanted to attend, but for a youth at the library. It was going to just basically consist of how to support a friend during a crisis or a non-crisis event. And of course we had to cancel because it was in April, but we've rescheduled it to be virtual on Wednesday, September 30th at 7 p.m. And I can send this all out. It was literally just decided today. In addition, so for those of you that don't know, Rachel Talbert, she is the teens librarian over at Bernards Township Library. So she is the person I usually work with the Teen Volunteer Fair on. We're trying to figure out a way to do Teen Volunteer Fair virtually. The best way I can describe it is the way that Ridge did the activities fair back in May. They basically gave like a list of videos to watch for all the different clubs, and we participated in that. Shout out to Alex and Madison for actually making that video that we used. But we're trying to think of a way to do a virtual fair for middle and high school students to click on and find out more information about organizations that are doing community service. But of course, it would be virtual community service. And we did hear from the high school that I think they're putting the community service, and Jen, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're putting the community service requirements on hold for right now, just pending everything. But some,
I think so. I'm not totally right. Yes, I think that's just because it's too hard to coordinate with all the.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think the kids are a little online out, if that's a nice way of putting it.
No, definitely. But we're just trying to figure out how to make things that we typically do. It's weird having a year without the Teen Volunteer Fair. That's typically like one of our big things of the fall. And then in terms of the PDFs that I sent to everybody, We did have a Narcan training scheduled. That was, I think, the first thing that got canceled. I think that was supposed to happen on March 23rd. We were doing the fentanyl factor with a Safe Communities Coalition. So it was the screening of fentanyl factor and then a Narcan training. I do know, I believe it's actually tonight. I know Community in Crisis is doing a virtual Narcan training, and I know a lot of organizations have been doing virtual Narcan trainings. So my question is, do we want to also do a virtual Narcan training since we were planning on doing one? Is that, I don't want to say overdone, because I feel like this makes Narcan trainings a lot more accessible. And then virtual mental health first aid is also an option. I have not been trained yet. Jennifer, I think you said I know you're not part of the Alliance technically, but like, yeah, she went through the training. I still have to do it. Joan, I don't know if you've looked at it yet, but they are making mental health first aid virtual, which is really cool because that was a big barrier being in person for 8 hours. I still have to look at the curriculum to be 100% sure. Okay, I'm going to stop talking for a minute. Did anybody see anything on those PDFs that piqued their interest?
I don't know if it's on the list, but anything that, and I have to go because my daughter needs to get on the Zoom, but anything that can build connections between these kids now, some social connections. I don't know. I know it's hard to do now over the Zoom, but I mean, it seems like while we have the nice weather, maybe it'd be an opportunity to get kids somewhere doing something that's safe. And I don't know. I mean, they can go up to the turf. They can, I don't know how, getting them together to do something that benefits everyone. Like, I'm not sure if it falls into our categories or just something that someone can look forward to that gives the kids, grounds them in something. I feel like kids are like kind of like floating around, not really grounded. So anything we can do to help with that. I don't know, like a club that goes and helps people out or brings food to people. I don't know, something that is like kind of action based. And I don't know if we have to just go on by these, what is on here, which is great stuff, like life skills and all that. But I don't know, kids reaching out to other kids to make sure they're okay, something of that nature. I don't know, because I worry about the kids' mental health. I really think it's a big, gigantic deal, and it's something that we really have to put at the forefront of this because it's something we're going to be dealing with for a really long time, in my personal opinion, from this whole thing. So
Yeah,
we can get started with now to help build connections up with kids who are feeling that way or feeling like they're losing their connections. Maybe. I'm sorry, I can't be more.
No, those are that's fine.
I agree. I mean, I think mental health was an issue before the pandemic, and it's only become a bigger issue, and will continue to be. So these are just all thoughts in my head that I'm about to share, but, I worry, first of all, I think virtual is good because you can reach a larger audience, and a lot of the programs that we do, sometimes we worry about, if you have a film about anxiety, are people going to be too stigmatized to go and be seen at a film about anxiety? So virtually, that may be a good thing. But on the other hand, we're all connected to our screens so much that could be difficult as well. So, this is, I think, a good idea to think about these comments, and please share your comments when I'm done, to look at the materials by Caitlin, to do whatever outside research so that, the next time we meet, we can brainstorm and think about the most effective ways. I mean, maybe small, I want to say like public service, smaller in time, not an hour film. If we could find something 20 minutes to kind of send out, maybe that would be a good thing. And as Jen mentioned, bye Jen,
Jen.
as Jen mentioned, to try to, have kids make connections. So anyway, but please, everybody share your thoughts, because we really, this, like anything else, when an obstacle comes in your way, it can present lots of opportunities. So we should kind of seize that and see what we can come up with. Anybody have any ideas?
If I may, I don't know if you can hear me.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with Jen, and I hear in her voice the same concern that I'm sure we all have, which is seeing our community members, family members, kids, experiencing the impact of being out of connection. It's dangerous for some. So I'm really not clear on what our duties, obligations, capabilities are in terms of departing from what we normally do each year and implementing something new. I don't know if that's an option, to say, hey, we're seeing this stuff happening. We're surmising that this may be a fix. What power do we have, or what authority do we have to try to implement something or suggest something, and what kind of clearance would we need on that for some kind of approval to implement a new program? Because of course, we want to try to think of something that's got limited cost or no cost. But one of the things that I know people are talking about in the news, and I liked someone mentioned something about doing volunteer work to help people who need help. That's awesome. And what I've been thinking about is the idea of pods, because I know school got pushed back now to October, in Basking Ridge. So who knows if it's going to get pushed back to November once October? No. Okay, no. But I know when it got pushed back to October, it was like this collective breath holding, like, what? So, so we were thinking about maybe pods, safe parameters for kids to get together to do their homework, so that they have a little bit of socialization. They can get a couple of hours together to either maybe, after their school hours, because there's fixed hours, to discuss what they're doing. I don't know, or to have lunch together outside somewhere, or in a home or a setting where it's been vetted that it's safe to get together. So it's just an idea, because I'm sure you've heard about people talking about putting pods together for school, just to give the kids an opportunity to see some different faces. So that was just one idea that I had, and I'm sure other people have other thoughts as well. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any ideas?
Yeah. What about like I'm sorry, this is Ellen. What about like an online support where the kids, I don't know how much via Zoom, but where kids can come and talk. I mean, I know they're already on the computer so much with doing their schoolwork, but at least they have a face-to-face and they can express. We might want to have a social worker or somebody, a professional who can help run it. To maybe answer their questions, because and help them with any of the anxieties that they're feeling. It might give them an outlet to talk, peer to peer, and maybe with, like I said, like a counselor, something there who's a professional who can, maybe answer any questions that they have.
That kind of reminds me of the small group pods that were happening. And I don't mean to use the word pods again, but I think it was 2 years ago, Mrs. Smith did them up at the high school. And I'm blanking on how she did them, but I think it just kind of started with a Google form, and then kids who had similar interests or similar concerns kind of got grouped together. I wonder if she's thinking of doing something like that for, yes, Chris, we will. I wonder if we can do something like that for, I don't know, again, virtually. Maybe she's planning on doing it already. Like I said, I did reach out to Mrs. Smith and see if she had any ideas for the competitive grant for Youth Services Commission. And then that's all I can think of for that. But I like that idea. I like all these ideas because you're absolutely right. They need a place to talk. And then especially with, I don't know how many of you heard this, and Joan, sorry if I'm bringing up a kind of a bombshell in the middle of this. I don't know if everyone heard about the funding cuts that are going to be happening to school linked services in the next fiscal year. But essentially programs like Second Floor and Traumatic Loss Coalition are going to get cut extremely bad, and that's going to be another hit to student mental health that frankly we can't afford during a pandemic or any time really. I don't know if there's a way to help we can support those programs. Joan, I know I emailed you Antoinette's email about what we can do, but I'm afraid I'm seeing programs that already exist are getting cut, and then we're left here and we do have a little bit of money, but what can we do that still kind of falls under our umbrella?
Right.
Because now that Jennifer's gone, I know this is on YouTube, but now that Jennifer's gone, I can loophole things. I've loopholed, before when the grant was supposed to only be for underage drinking, I still wrote things into the grant that weren't technically underage drinking focused. They were drug and, other drug focused, but we can manipulate money around a little bit. Not manipulating in a bad way, in a good way.
Right, to do it appropriately, but creatively.
Yes, creatively. That's definitely what it is.
Okay.
Oh, MJ.
Sorry.
Yes, MJ.
Oh, hi. Hi, everybody. I'm just sitting here thinking, and it's getting darker in my living room. I wish I could see you all, but I'm sitting here thinking connection. And my elbow is tired of meeting other elbows. And I can, as an older person and a hugger, boy, do I miss the touch of other humans. Absolutely. But, with the Post-it notes, and I'm thinking connection between available seniors and maybe high schoolers. And somehow, and we need to get something going quickly as long as the weather holds out, because a lot of people do not mind going out in good, in the weather where the air is right there to cleanse the area type thing. So maybe we can think of a day where people can just meet. And I would also love to see some kind of connection with seniors. If a kid wants to talk to somebody other than family and make sure they have all the numbers that they can call. Kids need the numbers too. They can think for themselves, and if they're distressed, if they're anxious, there's plenty of numbers for them to call. And I just thought it'd be nice to reach out to one particular person somehow, a teenager and an older person who might love the attention, you know what I mean, in the phone call and something like that. Just different ways of making human-like connection. And it's a day at a time. We don't know what's going to happen with this. So I think it's time to make more ways to feel good about it if they can. Thanks. Wish I could see everybody.
Thanks, MJ.
I like that too, because we don't typically, we haven't extended our reach to seniors in the past couple of years, and I'd love to do that, of course.
Thank you. I could use it.
That's why I'm glad you're on the call right now, MJ.
Sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry. That is a great idea, but I have to tell you that I just was visiting, well, not visiting. I saw my aunt who lives over at Fellowship, and a lot of the senior citizens, they are still shut down. They're not allowing them out. And And I know where my mother-in-law was, Ridge Oak, same thing. They're basically making them almost quarantine in their apartments
Yeah.
because seniors are I love the idea, unless we can reach out to their leadership and maybe see if there's a way to, like MJ said, like a phone call or something. I hate to say it.
I'm just talking phone calls, not visits. No.
Yeah.
Unless it was a big picnic outside with a bunch of people outside before the weather gets bad. But no, strictly phone calls. Somebody else might, they can call each other.
Yeah.
How you doing?
That's
It's
a cool
nice
idea.
to know how you doing. Okay. Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I can fully, as a health department employee, support long-term care facility visits at the moment. That just makes me nervous. And honestly, anything big and in person makes me nervous, but you guys are right. It is extremely important to have that face-to-face contact. I felt so much better just after us having our pizza party during LMTI, just seeing everybody interacting again. Oh my gosh. Is that Taylor? That's
Look,
Delilah. I can't tell who it is.
Everybody's looking at you. You have your big head.
MJ, you're missing Kathy's cat on the screen.
It's
Just hold on.
Abby's.
It's Abby's cat.
Okay.
You know, it'd be fun to do, good old fashioned pen pal writing. And then, when things are better with a vaccine, to like eventually have a in-face gathering.
Ooh.
Like next spring, maybe?
I hope.
Yeah, whenever it's safe to have people together, but cultivate the relationship through, actual writing, handwriting on stationery with stamps.
That's a good idea, actually. I think that's a really good, that could be a service.
And, think how excited the seniors would be if, they put in a article or a picture or just something for them to open, and it really ignites that reward of giving back and volunteering, and it's such a simple thing.
Right.
I like that.
I don't want to cut us too short because I like the discussion, but if anyone has any other ideas, please write them down, send them to myself or Joan or whoever. We'll have.
Appreciate it.
Oh, sorry, what?
We would really appreciate it.
I really like this pen pal idea. I want to talk about that more potentially. But I just want to make sure there's a planning board meeting after us. So I just want to make sure that we're mindful of our time. I do realize that the subcommittee updates, Jen, you're probably looking at this too. RHS booth, MJ, we're not sure when we're going to be back in the school. Fundraising, I don't know, I feel weird fundraising at the moment with, so many businesses not being able to come back. Those are the businesses that, we would typically reach out to.
Right.
And then mental health, we kind of discussed that.
Right. Although I'm still on 2021 May mental health event at Ross Farms. Please.
Manifest it right now that we're all going to be together at Ross Farms listening to music.
Maybe at this gathering, I'm sorry, am I talking over you? Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I think she.
Maybe when we have that, we could, hire some of these businesses, collectively pay them to, instead of asking them, maybe we could think about having them help host this gathering or something.
Uh-oh, we're losing you a little bit. I think your connection is.
I'm trying to think what doesn't cost money,
Right.
But I don't know. Sorry.
I just think your Kathy, I think your internet kind of froze up for a second.
Yeah.
Let me get rid of my.
Okay. We're not hearing
It's okay.
anything.
Would be,
There she
okay,
is.
never mind.
Okay, so public comment.
So if anybody is watching us on YouTube and you'd like to send in a public comment, you have the next, I don't know, Joan, what do you think? 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 3?
I guess we should do 3 minutes to be polite.
Yeah, so it's currently 7:13, so you have until 7:16 to send in a public comment. The email address is again kcartoccio@bernards.org. If you have a public comment.
Okay, so how about in those, while we're waiting those 3 minutes, if there are, I don't know if anyone knows of local events, virtual or whatever, or Municipal Alliance member comment, why don't we do that now while we wait for any email that might be coming in the next 3 minutes? So if anyone want to share any events they know that are coming up, or to share any other comment? All right, I think we covered it.
I really want everyone to think about what we just discussed. That sounded like I was like yelling at you. I want everyone to think about what we were just talking about in terms of building connection and potentially that senior phone call thing or acts of service, the pen pal writing. I know it doesn't seem like those would be like, alcohol and other drug programs, but ultimately, as we've discussed many times before, they all kind of wrap around and everything's rooted in mental health, really.
Well, the
So
lack
that's-
of all those things,
Yeah.
is a direct cause to drug and alcohol abuse. So it's the path down down the bad road.
I need help.
Yeah. I have 7:15, so another minute.
Well, it's MJ. I just wish everybody stay healthy and try to keep happy and whatever. Talk to you next month, I guess.
Wait,
Hopefully I'll see you then.
I hope
MJ,
so.
MJ, we're not done yet. We're just waiting on another minute for public comment. But if you have to hop off, you can.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay, I am not seeing anything in my inbox. So if anybody is watching from the public and you are sending something in, I don't see it. So Joan, I think we're okay to keep moving.
So, I think just in closing, because of the school situation, families are just trying to figure out what's going to happen October 1st. So we do have some time to really give this some thought, so they don't have to have something done for, 2 weeks from now or even a month from now. So we do have a month to hopefully kind of brainstorm and get some ideas, which a lot of good ideas were already shared, but things that we can take and move forward to kind of do what we're charged to do. So everybody stay, I have to take a motion for an adjournment. All right.
Thank you,
Okay.
Cindy.
And a second?
I'll second, Ellen.
Okay.
And just so everyone knows, so the next meeting is Tuesday, October 6th. Format is to be determined by the world.
Okay. All right. Stay safe, everybody. It was nice seeing you.
Be safe, everyone.
And thank you, Chris, for
And welcome,
organizing
Madison.
this. Bye,
Again.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, MJ.
Bye.
Okay, take care.